you find that so many people that come from who are here from Kenya in the United States, they always look for something that gives them that reset to what they felt and what they feel at home, huko Kenya, you know. So Cape Fear Sevens is a local tournament, and it brings up that feeling of how we used to go to, Tennesside, Driftwood, or whatever. All those tournaments, all in one. Baka Safari Sevens, all in the same place. And then you add the fact that it's also a family event, and we are able to bring our kids, different generations from everywhere. And once you get everybody in the same place and we all just enjoying ourselves, we just watch rugby and talk to each other.
What do you think has made Cape Fear grow so fast, especially amongst Kenyans in the recent years? Now, tonight we're going to be shifting our attention to the countdown of one of the biggest weekends in the Kenyan Diaspora entertainment calendar. This is the 2025 Cape Fear Sevens tournament. It's an event that has grown from a small gathering of rugby lovers into a full-blown cultural phenomenon, blending athleticism, homegrown music, and the untouchable Kenyan spirit. Now, this year's edition promises to be bigger, louder, and bolder than ever before. And tonight, we're giving you the inside scoop, from the tactical setups on the pitch to the DJ lineups off it, from the pride that fuels the Kenya Exile squad to behind the scenes hustle that make it happen. We'll be joined by some powerhouses behind the movement. First up, we have the director of the Kenya Exiles and one of the lead architects of Cape Fear Sevens, Benny Dhiongo. Benny Dhiongo is in the building with us. Benny, karibu sana to the One Mic Show. Benny, I'm going to get started with you. Just tell us how you're feeling and whether you can hear us. Benny, karibu sana.
Habari ya leo nyinyi wote.
Okay. Haya, karibu sana Benny.
Ongeza volume kidogo kadhaa.
Yeah, Benny, unatusikia?
Nawasikia sawa, ni labda mimi najua I have a soft voice.
Okay, you're feeling shy?
Yeah, right.
Umepata stage fright kidogo? Okay, hakuna wasiwasi hapo. Now, just to get us warmed up a bit, for a brief minute, just quickly tell us, what do you think has made Cape Fear grow so fast, especially amongst Kenyans in the recent years? Benny.
Kenya Exiles has grown in the recent years because it's really a cultural event for us. It's more than rugby. It's on the beach in Wilmington, North Carolina. And when I say a cultural part of it is you find that so many people that come from who are here from Kenya in the United States, they always look for something that gives them that reset to what they felt and what they feel at home, huko Kenya, you know. So Cape Fear Sevens is a local tournament, and it brings up that feeling of how we used to go to, Tennesside, Driftwood, or whatever. All those tournaments, all in one. Baka Safari Sevens, all in the same place. And then you add the fact that it's also a family event, and we are able to bring our kids, different generations from everywhere. And once you get everybody in the same place and we all just enjoying ourselves, we just watch rugby and talk to each other and learn what everybody's doing in their own free time.
Okay, amazing stuff, Benny, and thank you so much for putting this tournament together. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more in detail. Also joining us is a name that needs no introduction to music and party lovers on both coasts, East Coast, West Coast, South Coast, North Coast. He's got turntables in one hand and vibes on the other. DJ Sunny Sistuki is also in the building. Sistuki, karibu sana. You are familiar with Kilimanjaro Studios. You've been on the One Mic Show before. Karibu sana, DJ Sistuki.
Yes, thank you so much. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes, loud and clear. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very excited.
Okay.
We're just moving into, we have 2 weekends left before Cape Fear Sevens.
Yes.
And this is that last stretch where we get all our details, we get all our ducks in a row, and we look forward to a fabulous weekend.
Okay. Yeah, asante sana. And to those who are tuned in, maybe they're not familiar with the dates. It's from Thursday, June the 26th to Sunday,
Yes.
June the 29th. So get prepared. If you hadn't made plans, start making plans. We're going to talk about logistics, what airport you need to go to if you're going to be flying in, or hotels. Nanini will be talking about all that in a short while. But Sistuki, this year we've seen events like LA7s with very amazing fan zones, but very scattered after parties. That has been a big problem with these big sevens events. What makes Cape Fear different when it comes to entertainment flow and crowd energy? I mean, are we expecting the same thing when we go to North Carolina? Mara party moja sijui iko wapi, ingine iko huku. Are we expecting that confusion, or what is going to be happening at Cape Fear Sevens?
So there's a few things that are going to really differentiate this experience from any past experience that you might have had, be it in LA, be it in Vegas, or even be in, if you go for any other Kenyan reunion in Atlanta or Dallas or any of these other places. So one of the important things that we're going to realize is this event is happening in Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington is a beach town. Wilmington is not a big city like Atlanta or Dallas or even Raleigh, where I live, or DC for that matter. Wilmington is a small beach town with a very quaint atmosphere. People are very free. There's not too much bushiness or anything in ATL. So I mean, in Wilmington. So what people are going to expect is, from an entertainment perspective, is just a very free feeling, free-spirited entertainment scene, but also a quality entertainment scene. So the entertainment is going to be very well curated. We obviously have some of the best DJs in the industry who are coming to entertain our crowds. But on top of that, you're not going to have there's one thing. Let me step back a little bit. Let me start by saying, in Wilmington, because this is a rugby event, we're also going to be pushing for the other teams, because there's actually 60 teams or more. Am I right, Benny? 60 or more teams that are going to be in this specific tournament. So granted, we have our two Kenyan teams, and we're doing most of the promotion on the Kenyan side. We're also going to be encouraging members of the other teams and people who have come to cheer the other teams to join our after parties. Because of this, these are rugby folks. These are rugby fans. They don't like dressing up in fancy clothes. They don't like being in fancy places. So I'm not saying this to deter you from coming. I'm actually saying this to encourage you to encourage you to come, because yes, you can still dress up, you can still show up. The venue we've picked out has a nice rooftop view. The entertainment we've picked out is going to be very well curated and of the highest quality. We'll make sure we have the best sound equipment so that everything sounds great. What people can expect is not having to come and wait for the expensive bottle service, the really expensive drink prices that LA and Vegas have. This is feel-good bars with feel-good vibes in a beach town is basically what it is. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea of how this is. And then there's not going to be 20 events going on. Well, let me not say, there won't be 2 or 3 events going on. We are the primary entertainment providers. We are teamed up with Kenya Exiles. We're teamed up with, and when I say teamed up with Kenya Exiles, it's not me, DJ Sunny Sestuki has put together the entertainment roster, and Kenya Exiles is just endorsing us. It's a little further than that. Kenya Exiles is actually involved in the planning and the venue picking. So Benny and I have multiple calls on multiple occasions to make sure that we're on the same page. The Kenya Exiles director himself is on the entertainment planning, and I am on the tournament planning. So it's a very symbiotic relationship between the sport and the entertainment in this instance.
Okay. Aya, sawa sawa. And we really appreciate the details of that, and also knowing that this is a symbiotic relationship. It's not just one of those of there's gonna be rugby, like I'm a DJ, I'm just gonna come post up somewhere close, and people will come from the rugby to come there. So So I think that will be very interesting. And I want to remind the listeners that you're tuned into the One Mic Show. The number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. We're going to be talking about this in a little bit more detail. And of course, type up on YouTube and also on Facebook. Let us know where you're tuned in from and whether you'll be coming to Cape Fear Sevens. And on the panel also, we have representing the player's perspective. We are joined by Samuel Mutari, who's suiting up for the Kenya Exiles team that's going to be playing at Cape Fear Sevens. So Sam, karibu sana. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, Ali.
Okay.
Thanks for having me tonight.
All right, thank you so much. And Sam, you are part of the historic team that beat Fiji in 2016 and lifted the World Rugby 7 series for the first time in Singapore.
We'll say that again.
So you are part of the historic team that beat Fiji in 2016 and lifted the World Rugby 7's trophy for the first time ever. That was in the city of Singapore, or rather in the country of Singapore. Tell us a little bit more about that historic experience for a brief minute, because it's something that maybe a lot of diasporans do not know about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I keep telling people who ask me this question that was an occasion when generations met. A few of the players who played in the golden generation, a few of the players who were part of the emerging generation, and a bunch of young players all integrated and formed a team. And for the first time, we had, all the way from Humphrey Kayange to Nelson Oyo. You can see that age difference at that time. I think Humphrey was, 35 at that time. Andrew also, Collins. We had older players, we had younger players, myself, Robert Aringo. Who else did we have? We have Frank Wanyama. You have older, experienced players and young, very fresh and athletic boys who came together with one goal. And that day, the dominoes just aligned, and history was made.
So that's that was one of those. Let me not say unexpected, because Kenya was actually doing very well. Even prior to that, we were making semis. We were just getting jinxed and not being able to win a tournament. So Singapore is where it finally happened. So Sam, asante sana. Yes, Mika.
That was the same year that we reached the semis of the World Cup. Na ref akatuharamia against Wales.
Was it the same year?
Yep.
Was it the same year we reached the semis of the World Cup? I thought that was before.
No.
Remember, it was well, not the same. Okay, the reason I'm saying the same is because it was within the same time. Because I remember the World Cup were in Dubai, and I was in Dubai. So the World Cup was
2014. It was 2014.
Yeah, 2014. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm mixing up my time.
Olympic year, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and those were
No, actually, yeah, my bad. I'm confusing this with the one who reached the one who reached the finals. I'm confusing with this with 2010. Was it 2010, 2019? That's what I'm confusing it with.
No, there was a World Cup where we reached the semis, and I can't remember which.
We were in the semis, and then that same year we reached our first final in the series.
Oh, that's
if I'm not wrong.
2013.
2013.
2013 Wellington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So Ali, maybe if I can just
Sure.
chime in again.
Mhm.
So I mentioned all the young players, but and the older players coming together, but there was a build-up all the way from when we had Mike Friday and Paul True came about,
Yes.
and now we had Benja as the head coach at that time. So the only thing that led to the players finally gelling and being in a winning mind frame, rather, so to say, is because this is a season where we owned the system that we were playing. Finally the players came and said, this is how we're going to play, this is how we're going to do, this is how we're going to do defense, this is how we're going to do offense. And it was an incremental thing. And if you watch the highlights from that season, all the way from Dubai SA, into Vancouver, Vegas, you know, you can see there was a build up all the way into Hong Kong. Then after losing to Hong Kong, in Hong Kong, after losing to Fiji in Hong Kong, the guys now, you know, they figured out their mistakes, and then we meet Fiji again. We're like, okay, we're not losing to them again, you know, because it was a consecutive build up, you know, weekend in, weekend out of formulating our game plan, our team play, and it finally gelled at Singapore.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's that was a very interesting year, and it's something that we are hoping to at some point replicate.
Almost did.
And actually this season we actually made it. Yeah, we made it to the
Final.
We made it to the finals. But then of course
the same team.
there's these issues that came up with World Rugby and changing the format, which was kind of a bit deflating. But then again, later on, Samuel will speak on his experience as a player now here in the US, his thoughts on the struggles the Kenya team is facing back home, and what it means to wear the Exiles jersey in the midst of all this. We'll also later pivot back home to Kenya, where the youth are once again taken to the streets. This time after the brutal killing of Albert Ojwang, a young man whose story has shaken the country and ignited a new wave of Gen Z-led protests. We'll be unpacking that too, because this is the only show where culture, sports, music, and justice intersect. So stick around and drop your comments and let us know what city you're tuned in from. Are you heading to Cape Fear? You know, like the people who are tuned in. Are you coming? You know, drop a comment. Say, yes, I am coming. I'm a maybe. I'm a no, but I am thinking about it. So just drop a comment and let us know. I want to remind you that it's Friday the 13th of June. Namelia Envy the People's Kamkunji is now in full sale. And we are here on the panel with DJ Sani Sistuki, with Benny Diongo, and with Sam Motari. We are talking Cape Fear Rugby. So I want to come back to the studio and get to the panel. Maybe I'm going to start with you, DJ Omosh Fire. Talk to us about maybe any previous experiences you've had with Cape Fear. DJ Omosh Fire. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Natarajia munanisikia ikiwa niko hapa studio.
Sorry.
You guys,
sorry,
you
sorry.
know, I know why.
Sorry. Carry on.
Anyway, so my experiences at Cape Fear. So I actually went to Cape Fear last year, and let me tell you something. You know, I think, I don't know if it was touched upon or not. It's actually a family-friendly event, and that to me I think is the best part of it. And we're not restricted to sitting on stands. CG, I don't know, you're going through a study door. CG, I don't know. No, it's like Filanga free.
Yes.
And we have our own Kenya Corner. Ali, as you've been hearing of, or as you remember Kenya Corner, but we have our own Kenya Corner. Tuko na matents, kuna mziki ndio hiyo yani it's a whole vibe. You don't even realize that you're actually in a huge tournament that's got, 50 plus teams.
Yes.
Because just the vibe on the Kenyan side alone is a plus. But the better part of it is you also get to enjoy the rugby with people who we are always with, who, you know, you are always interacting with. You know, I guess that's called, some of them, weekend only warriors. Yani, you know, a guy like OneMic can suit up and go get his
his honest 2 minutes.
Yes. So it's
Yani kumbo. Honest 2 minutes.
To be honest, it was and that was one part of it, right? So one part of it is getting to enjoy the I guess I'd call it the park, not stadium experience, the park experience with the games, with the vibes, meeting Kenyans from all sorts of different walks of life, guys with their kids, you know, and their kids then are also now getting interested in rugby. They're seeing rugby happen. They have the opportunity between games when people are changing fields, they can throw the ball, they can, you know, it's very interactive.
Yeah.
Extremely interactive. Folks had come with their dogs. CG dogs had even been painted Kenya colors. Yani, it was just a heck of an experience.
That wasn't Mokwasi. Oh, sorry, carry on.
Okay, yeah. So now that we brought up Mokwasi, Ugali Man himself was there. The nyaks that was coming off the grill. Yani, some of us, we just decided to camp at the grill. So between the games, uko kwa grill, na unaenda, grill, na and then there's merch. There's a lot of merchandise that you can buy. There are a lot of Kenyan merchandise that you can buy that is sports related. You know, other than Kenya Exiles, there was some other stuff in there. You know, I have not even hit the entertainment part.
Okay.
Na sasa we ndio waga mtu entertainment ati sijui ati do we drive sijui 68 miles sijui to go look for sijui I don't know what.
That is LA. LA, you have to do calculations.
No. So from the hotel, which possibly everybody has now booked, but from the hotel to the park is, I think if it's 10 minutes, it's far.
Okay.
And then kutoka hoteli to the hang venues, again, another 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. There's no way you're driving for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, kuna beach. So you can do beach day every day ukijipanga.
So unakam na Bukta.
Well, who is Bukta? Who is Bukta?
Kwani you guy, you don't know these languages?
I don't know who is Bukta. Kwanza ule mse wa Eldoret anajua Bukta.
Bukta ni swimwear.
Oh, so ungesema ngodha?
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Wasiwa Nairobi West.
Yeah.
No, Nairobi West ulikuwa to swim na ngodha.
Too many confessions.
Yeah.
But yes, so what if you can plan, if you plan yourself correctly, especially if you're somebody who's arriving on Thursday, you can do a whole beach day on Thursday. And then on Friday, you go do part 2. Then you go for the hang. Then Sato, unaenda study. Ukitoka study, remember they still dark at 9 o'clock.
Yes. Unarudi beach.
Yes.
Okay. Sawa.
And then you go, you eat.
Okay.
Sunday, ukimaliza, unapiga beach plus day party. Oh, sorry, did I derail it too much?
Okay, no, sawa. We're gonna come back to that. Now, before we go to Mika, there's a lot of chatter that has been coming through the Facebook stream. I can see George Mokwasi, Mr. Ogaliman is in the building. Anasema we had built a rugby culture, players understood the game and system. This was in reference to what Sam Motari was saying.
Yes.
Yeah. And then George Mokwasi anasema Ogaliman, I am here. And then there's someone who's called, hiyo jina nimejaribu kuipronounce, Pedro Farian, yes, something like that. Anamkaribisha Ogaliman. DJ Sane Sistuki anasema yes, I'm coming. Yes, of course, you have no option hapo. And then Alfred Enga says, I need a ride from Baltimore. So this is what I like. So anyone who's driving from Baltimore, Alfred Enga is saying he needs a ride from Baltimore Thursday morning. Kwanza he's even specific with his time. He's begging, but
how is this beggar? How is this beggar chooser?
But he's choosing. Anasema he needs a ride, but you need to leave Thursday morning to Cape Fear.
And coming back? When is he coming back?
No, he coming back, you worry about later. That's how these things are. As long as umefika, now you start worrying about coming back maybe Sunday, kukaribia Monday morning. That's when you start looking for people who are going back.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then George Mokwasi hapa anasema we will be in a new venue this year. So karibuni sana. Please type your comments. Let us know where you're tuning from and say, yes, I am coming. If you're one of those people who's coming to Cape Fear Sevens. Mika acha nikuje kwako kidogo, like give me your Cape Fear experience. And then we're going to come back to studio and then go back to our guests. Mika, twende kazi.
Mimi bado sijaenda Cape Fear.
So this will be your first Cape Fear?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's very surprising because uko karibu sana. You are much closer to them. So
last year nilienda kuandamana.
Yes, last year we were all not able to go.
So we split.
Yes.
We actually split. We split personnel. So me and OneMic went, and then you and
Mia was here organizing
you and Mika
demos.
went for the demos.
Yeah, we were here organizing demos. So to split, like a lot of crazy things were happening. And then Uno Mike.
Yes, sir.
I think you're the one who has the most experience with Cape Fear on this panel.
He might be an exile.
Yeah, tell us about your experience. And nimesikia huko you can suit up. You can even suit up.
Ameva suti.
So is there gonna be a surprise? Like tukiwa tuna lead and then unaingia kumaliza game.
There's the merch right there, baby.
Okay.
Benith Yongo, provide the merch.
Okay. So what are experiences Cape Fear?
Let me tell you, like I think Omosh has said it all. It's a vibe. And it's one of those vibes you have to be. Ndio ujue.
Yeah. Sikusimuliwa.
No. Like you say, usingoje kusimuliwa, because the vibe is, and guess, by the way, Mwembu is gonna be there. Mogoka.
Mogoka. So
Yes, he was there.
He was there last
He
year.
was there, yes.
Mogoka.
Wow, yeah.
Sachit.
And Konye.
And Konye.
Yes.
We on his standard.
No, but it's not Konye if it goes with the team. But but I'm just saying.
But I think for me, I think it's the idea now of meeting people like Akina Sam, guys who have played before.
Correct.
When you hear of Kenyans,
Yes.
unasikia Marine, unasikia Misha, unasikia Wagura. You hear names, you're like, okay. But it's the fraternity that those guys, the brotherhood that those guys have is amazing. It's crazy. And then, the compilation of the team, it's guys who are former players, like who played international, who maybe some are still
or
playing.
Even high school or
High
whatever,
school,
yes.
but they're still here.
Or club.
I can't wait to meet this some guy, because yo mwaka tulishinda, we were high.
He might give us an autograph.
No, what year was that?
2018.
2016.
Huh?
Oh, you're talking about
the career
World
Rugby.
Okay.
Rugby RB when we won.
Yeah.
It was 16.
It was 2016.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it was
16,
2016.
yeah, it was 16.
Yeah, Nick, amen.
Oh, sorry, I had added 2 years. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about
So you have to be there, and I think Omosha said it best. Like, I mean, it's a, like Sunny said, it's a beach town. Everything is not far from
Ebuki,
anywhere.
tell us your experience last year when you went.
Let me tell you.
When did you land?
We landed on. Kwanza we left at 3 a.m. with Akina Marine and Munga. We figured mapema. We met guys who had already been banjukaing all night. Akina Wagura.
Where was that? Was that on a Thursday or on a Friday?
It was a Thursday night into Friday morning.
Okay.
So we figured Friday. So
Okay,
guys,
early Friday.
yeah, beach. Some guys like Akina Konya went to play golf. I've never understood that. But, can't knock them for their hustle. And then now you wait, Kadunda, then Sato. Kwanza Sato was fire games. The boys were playing well. Guys were cheering.
And we had 2 teams.
Yes, we had 2 teams. We had the old guys.
Vijana na wazee.
Kina Beni.
Yeah. Benny played, by the way.
No, I didn't. Not last year. I didn't.
No, it was the year before.
Yeah.
It was the year before.
You're confusing with your shirt. Okay, go ahead.
He played the year before. But there were 2 teams. Sawale wazee, guys in their 40 plus, wazee. Then vijana, kina Sam, sasa kina
Misha, right?
Kina Misha, kina Bombe, Wagura, those guys.
Yes.
It was fun.
And they actually did very, very well.
They did
Again,
well.
wazee ndo wazee wa kushinda.
No.
Sijui hapo Benny can tell us if they
Ebu
won.
give us what happened. I thought Wazes got almost. They were almost there.
No, they played well.
They-
But put it this way, Ali, it's a vibe. Akina, the people came with their toys, their famos, the kids were over there, like you were saying, throwing the ball. Like, it's just
And then
a
the kids
vibe.
started playing with each other. They don't know each other from Adam or Eve. Yani wanaenda. Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice.
Musingoje kusimuliwa.
Now let's go back to Benny Apa. Benny, about 60 teams. For most people who've attended LA Sevens, Vega Sevens, they know, even at its peak, the tournament had a max of 16 teams. So how do 60 teams play for 2 days when we are used to seeing very few teams playing in tournaments? Benny.
Well, so Cape Fear, I'll give you a brief history. Cape Fear is a tournament that's been organized for 50 years.
Wow.
Huh?
For 50
5-0.
years. This is their 50th year.
Okay, so this is a big one.
This is a big one for them. The club that runs it is called Cape Fear Rugby, and they've been in existence for 51 years. Anyway, so they started this tournament, and it grew to be the best, most competitive tournament in the Eastern Seaboard over the years for club rugby and below. So you have all the clubs from Maine all the way to Miami. All of them used to come to Cape Fear. And the dates used to be 4th of July weekend, but they shifted it a few years back to this weekend that we are on right now. So now that history has ran for so long, and then Kenya Exiles actually started playing there in 2001.
Wow. Okay.
It picked Alafu. So the guys that you guys are calling Wazee, that team is actually called Wazalendo. Nobody likes to be called Wazee.
Sorry, Basi.
Sorry.
Anyway, so the Wazalendos played when they were in their 20s. And, like everything, sports has, every athlete has a shelf life. So alifika penye they can compete at that elite level, and we didn't attend a few years. Alafu now we are back. We have a group of young Kenyans who are coming in, who've played from everywhere. They might have played a few games in high school. They might have played a few games in Campo in Nai. They might have played for a club in anywhere in Kenya. So every one of them, once you play rugby, there's usually an itch of wanting to play again. So that's how Cape Fear came about. So now, back to your real question, how do they get 60 people? So we just moved to another venue because they want to accommodate more than 60 teams. Last year they had 60 teams, and you have about 4 to 8 fields playing. You have games going on at the same time, simultaneously on all these games. And you can walk up to any one of them. So what they have is they have different divisions. You have an elite division where our Vijana team are playing. So they are playing against the best of the best that's from the Southeast, trying to go to nationals championship. And then you have the women also have their own championship.
Yeah,
so
by
you
the
have
way.
both men and women.
Oh,
inside.
nice.
Yeah, the ladies there, by the way.
Okay.
There are ladies playing, and you have now you also have divisions both sides. So you have the elite division, then you have like an open division, and then a social division. And that goes for both men and women, depending on how many teams. And every now and then they might have a youth division. And on Fridays, I don't know if they had it last year, but they might have it again this year. They also have military competition. So if you're in the military, you play rugby. On Friday evening, they normally have a little competition of like the Navy plays, Army, Coast Guard plays this one. And it's just a friendly thing for the military and an honor to the military, because I think Wilmington is not so far away from a few military bases. So at the end of it is this year they've moved to a different venue, which is slightly north from where we normally go. It's called, I'm not sure if I can spell it right, but it's called Ncinco or Cinco, NCI something. I'll pull it up in a minute. But that park has more fields, and they just redid it. The city just redid it with a soccer team, so we're expecting it to be much better. They have one field that we might not be able to use it because it's artificial turf. You can play rugby on artificial turf in the middle of summer. Temperatures are too high.
Yeah.
So that's how they're able to get 60 plus teams going, because you have all these things happening simultaneously. And then the best part about this tournament is they don't run the games all the way to like 9-10 o'clock at night. By 3 p.m. 4 p.m.
done.
The games are done.
The games are done for the day, so you have time to go to the beach and enjoy yourself.
And what time do they start in the morning?
Around 9.
Wow. Okay.
9-10 in the morning. So by 9-10 in the morning, if you're ready, depending on how fast there is only pool play. So all the pool games for every division are played on that day. So you have 12 teams mostly it's like 12 teams by each pool, and then they max out. And then after that, the next day is knockout. So depending on how you perform on Saturday, on Sunday, you'll be told if you're going to be playing at 10, the first match.
Yeah.
Which is a problem.
Yeah.
Which is a problem when it comes to Wazalendo.
Yeah.
Tutaenda Dunda, alafu Wazalendo tutasema sasa game yetu kwa sababu we lost every game yesterday. We are the first ones to play.
Wacha ikae.
Wacha we pull our senior citizen card.
Oh, okay.
So that's how it goes. And then the better games are late. And then at the end of the tournament, by the evening, depending on how you win, you continue on until the end of the tournament around 3 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And now is there a schedule, of when the Kenyan teams will be playing, or do we expect to get that on that day when we arrive?
So schedule in most of the local rugby tournaments do not come out until the week off.
Okay.
Tournament. So the week off, we will be spreading this. We will share the schedule. We have on our Instagram and all our other channels, so everybody can be able to go on there and see what time. And then we'll obviously tell everybody what time we play. We'll curate our times for play for the first day and share all that. But we'll also put the full schedule, because what happens is everybody is coming from all over the country. So if there's a team that you've ever been affiliated with and they are there, guess what? You'll go and watch them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how they're able to get everything in a nutshell. And I will definitely share the schedule the week off.
Okay.
And by the way, once the games are over, I'm naenda beach. Sani anakujanga na speaker yake.
Wapi Beach.
Eh.
He has a beach speaker.
Utajua ujui.
Hala.
Carry on.
Okay. Haya, sawa sawa. Na hapa Lauren Kagwe anasema nyinyi ni wazae basi lol, but anasema keep up the good work, Kefia, tuko nyuma yenu. Lauren, tell us whether you're coming. You know, we want to know if there are people from outside the East Coast who are going to be coming. So please type in and tell us, yes, I am coming. Now, going back to Sistuki, you know, just maybe give us a background of your involvement with Cape Fear. And you mentioned that you are working together with Kenya Exiles to put the entertainment roster and program to curate it together. Tell us a bit about that, because what we're kind of used to during rugby is an entertainment side that sometimes, and I'm not saying in a bad way, that sometimes not even interested in the rugby. They just know that people are going to be coming and they will organize on their own whatever they'll have to have the people who are coming from the games to the tournament. So what is different with what Sistuki is doing with Kenya Exiles?
Sure. So first off, let me piggyback a little bit on what Benny said. The park where the rugby is happening is Encino, Ncino. It was a park that was in Wilmington that has been freshly renovated, freshly redone. There are 11 fields on this particular park, full-size fields. So that's how, again, all these teams will be participating simultaneously. Now, let me go back and give you guys a little bit of history on my involvement with Cape Fear. I DJ'd Cape Fear's after parties for the very first time back in 2004 and 2005.
Wow.
Haya. Ujama ni mzee.
Jesu.
You were already a DJ in 2004, 2005.
Na alikuwa amebeba
Yes.
nini Santuri.
Okay.
Yeah. So back then, there was a group of people from Raleigh, because Cape Fear in Wilmington is a 2-hour drive from Raleigh. And there was a group of people, Kenyans, who got wind of this rugby tournament, rented a hall, asked me to DJ it. And it was just one of those Kenyan hanyes. The hall didn't have any restrictions, so the bash went all the way till 5 in the morning. I drove down there with my speakers and sound system and everything, and I was the only DJ. It wasn't those days of you have 3 or 4 DJs. So I would DJ from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
On Friday and Saturday. And this hall was behind a hotel. And everyone would book rooms in that hotel. And when we get done at 6 a.m., people would gather in people's rooms in that hotel.
Come and leave your story.
To be continued.
Yeah, this was like, and continue, having a sherehe, whatever. And that was actually the first time I even met George Mukwasi. That's the first time I bumped into Andy, rest in peace.
Yes,
you
yes.
remember Andy, he worked at the
Embassy.
Kenyan Embassy.
Yes.
And that's when I really became familiar with a lot of these guys in the rugby scene. Growing up, the only thing I knew about rugby was parties. I never went to games. I used to go to Nakuru for the sevens and whatnot, but I just used to go for the parties. I never went for the actual sport. Growing up, I only played soccer. But long story short, 2004, 2005, these guys would throw these parties. And then they stopped throwing these parties, I think up to 2006. And then there was a lull. I think Kenya Exile still played. The guys stopped doing the parties, so they didn't book me. So sometime around 2008, 2009, I decided, let me take this into my own hands and throw this party myself. And so I would do my promo. I rented the hall. I bought all the alcohol, because those halls needed didn't have there wasn't a club, it was a hall, so you're selling your own alcohol. I bought all the alcohol. I got the alcohol permit. I got some other friends to help out, and very quickly realized that I was not very well prepared for something like that back in 08. So 08, 09, I tried this for 2 years to do it myself, and every year I lost a substantial amount of money. Now, we got a good amount of people to show up, mostly from our locale in North Carolina. We didn't really have this big push for people coming from other states or anything like that. And we were renting the same hall, which no longer exists today, by the way. But buying all this alcohol, hiring your friends to bartend, who are probably consuming more than they're bartending.
Almost fire.
You know, just all these inadequacies that help us realize where we were inefficient. And so for 2 years in a row, I lost a significant amount of my own funds trying to make this happen. And it disheartened me, and I stopped. Well, Cape Fear obviously kept going on. Kenya Exiles, as you heard from Benny, had a small break in there when the players, where the age groups kind of had to transition. And so we're in 2025. So I'd say just before COVID, there was another group of people out of Raleigh that tried to do these events. Kenya Exiles tried to work with them, but there was a level of there was a level of what to expect.
Sintofahamu.
Yeah, and also there was this the symbiosis between Kenya Exiles and entertainment didn't exist, right? So Kenya Exiles would make a suggestion. I'd say, for example, we have these rugby players from other teams that want to come. Can we come up with a way to accommodate them? And entertainment would say, "Yoni, Sisi, we are doing our entertainment." You know what I mean? So there would be things like that, and not to say the entertainment was bad, but there was just a lack of that connection,
accommodation.
Yeah.